They say age is just a number. That is true in some cases. Let's take a look at some of the oldest managers to have ever coached in the Premier League. Disclaimer, some of them should probably have retired a lot earlier. Roy Hodgson. Should Roy Hodgson take up the mantle at Crystal Palace, he seems to be doing the reverse of Sam Allardyce and ending up at Selhurst Park after failing with the national team. Then his 70 years of age would shoot him into the top 3 oldest Premier League bosses of all time. But as it stands, his last top flight game was over 5 years ago, a 3-2 home defeat to Arsenal as manager of West Brom, before he took the most pressurised job in the country and ended up losing to a nation with a population less than that of Bristol. Like most failed England bosses, Hodgson is a bit of a walking joke at the minute and should feel relieved that a Premier League club is choosing to overlook his shambolic international term. But he has done well in the past, with both Fulham and West Brom, and back to the Stone Age with Blackburn Rovers. Let's not talk about Liverpool though. Neil Warnock. Neil Warnock is something of a lower league specialist, but his last game in the Premier League came 3 years ago when Crystal Palace sacked him after just 16 matches. They were obviously feeling 4 times more generous back then. At 66 years and 25 years old, when taking charge of the Eagles' 3-1 home defeat to Southampton, Warnock's most memorable top flight moment arguably came 7 years earlier, when he spat bitterness at anyone who'd listen after the illegal Carlos Tevez had sentenced Sheffield United to the Championship. Arsene Wenger. I bet Arsene Wenger didn't think there'd be a chance he'd be ringing in his 70th birthday still managing in the Premier League when he took the job at Highbury looking like a speckled geography teacher over 20 years ago. The Frenchman, once beloved by every Arsenal fan, has now become a joke figure in English football, despite his 3 FA Cups in recent seasons taking his personal tally to 7. Not that funny a joke really, is it? Harry Redknapp. Remember when Harry Redknapp walked away from QPR 2 years ago with the club knee-deep in big wages, bad attitudes and terrible performances, citing his inability to walk due to a pair of dodgy knees at the age of 67? Well, it didn't take long for the former Portsmouth boss to recover, first snapping up a hilarious role with the Jordan national team, where speaking slower and louder to the foreign press didn't seem to work, and then Birmingham City in the Championship. Dick Advocaat. Oh, Dick Advocaat. No wonder he chucked in the Sunderland job a week after his 68th birthday. He was getting too old to have to deal with Billy Jones defending every Saturday. The Dutchman had been appointed in March 2015, just in time to steer them to their annual survival, with Advocaat shedding a few tears along the way. He signed a 1-year contract, but it took him 8 games of the following season to smell a rotting ship, choosing to spend more time with the wife. Guus Hiddink. Guus Hiddink has footballing credentials coming out of his ears, having taken charge of the likes of Real Madrid and 5 different international teams. But as far as his time in England goes, he's just the fireman, called in to drown out the mess whenever Chelsea are in trouble. 2009 was his first rescue mission, after Luis Felipe Scolari's best efforts to chuck Mourinho's good work out the window, and not only did he salvage an FA Cup out of the season, but he was about 5 unnoticed handballs away from reaching a Champions League final. And I'm sure John Terry wouldn't have been allowed anywhere near a penalty this time. When he returned in December 2015, he probably couldn't have believed what sort of mess he was inheriting. The Blues might have been reigning champions, but they were 16th in the league, a point above the relegation zone. Hiddink steadied the ship, guiding them to 10th. His last game was a 1-1 draw with the side who I still can't believe were ever champions, Leicester City. Sir Alex Ferguson. It's testament to the man's class that a club the size of Manchester United seemed like a kid whose water wings were ripped off and tossed into the deep end as soon as Sir Alex Ferguson announced he'd be stepping down in May 2013. The man was 71 years old, but it still came as a bolt from the blue for a club that were cruising to the league title. Having won 13 leagues at Old Trafford, the news apparently shocked Robin van Persie, who had traded in his Arsenal cult hero status for glory under Britain's most successful manager, not for a couple of seasons alongside some fella who banned ketchup from the canteen. Ferguson was 71 years old when he bowed out, and as a parting gift, his defenders tried to give him a heart attack, conceding 5 of the Hawthorns, with a certain afro-haired Belgian treating himself to the match ball. Sir Bobby Robson. If you ever needed a moment in time to pinpoint the start of Newcastle United's downfall, aside from Mike Ashley's takeover or the signature of Jack Colback, it was in August 2004 when Sir Bobby Robson was sacked after 5 successful years. After finishing a disappointing 5th the previous season, something Alan Pardew would win Manager of the Year for during his time up north, Chairman Freddie Shepherd relieved the 71-year-old of his duties. The likes of Kieran Dyer and Craig Bellamy were reported to have been unhappy in the build-up, the former for the temerity of his manager to ask him to play out of position for the sake of his team, and the latter due to speculation surrounding Wayne Rooney's possible arrival. Anyway, the former Barcelona manager was sacked at the age of 71 before a litany of failed managers were ushered through the door, including one who couldn't even pronounce his players' names, until finally it culminated with the club trickling out of the top flight 2 months before Robson's death. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.